I love customizing my workspace in Adobe Illustrator. It makes things so much more efficient. So this is part 4 of the mini series, and I'll show you how to set it up. This is how I do it. You can start with this and then play around with what works for you. Okay, to start with, I always have the grid on the artboard just so I can spatially align things better, and I never use snap to object, so the objects aren't going to snap automatically to the grid points. I like to use the align option. Set up our workspace. We're gonna go to the top, click Windows, then go to Workspace. I like to click Essentials Classic. I like how this lays out all the tools on the left side, but we're gonna be focusing on the right side. These 3 arrows you're gonna click, and this is gonna expand into 2 wide columns. And then in the first panel, I like to have the colors. So I use Color Guide and Color Swatches. Color Swatches to create the color palette that I'm going to be working with, and then Color Guide to get the different shades of the same colors in the palette. So these 2 tabs in the same panel. And then next I have Align. This just helps orient the objects, really useful. At the bottom I have 3 different tabs: the layers, the asset export, and then artboards. So layers we'll use pretty frequently. Asset export is really useful once we start exporting, which we'll talk about in the last video. And then artboard, sometimes I like to switch between the different artboards I have open. And then on the right side, always the property. The property is interesting because it changes depending on the tool you're working with. But the properties is the panel that you'll probably use the most. Libraries is nice because it's kind of centralized between all the Adobe suite, but I don't use that as often. So yeah, that's how I set up my workspace. I really like this. I played around with a lot of different formats, but this is what works for me. So hope these tutorials are helpful as always, and I'll see you in the next part.